and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then hello and welcome. For today's video, we're gonna be chatting all about my equipment. So I'm gonna be telling you guys everything that I use to film my YouTube videos, my Instagram videos, the lighting that I use. I'm gonna be talking about how I edit, my mics, everything like that. I'm gonna share with you guys in this video. I get requested for this video quite often, so I thought it was finally time that I could share all of the equipment and everything that I use with you guys really quickly before we get started. I do have a schedule here on my channel. I post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That is when you'll find new videos from me, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you do not miss out. Let's get started with today's video. Most requested thing that I get asked is what camera do I use? So currently I am filming right now with my Canon 80D. That is the camera that I typically film with, as well as what I take my pictures with. If I don't use my 80D for my pictures, I typically use my phone sometimes for a lot of my flat lays and things like that. I will just use my iPhone. The camera on that is really, really good. I have an iPhone 7, so you definitely don't need this giant expensive camera to get good quality. Phones have such good quality now, so you can definitely take your pictures and everything like that with your phone, but for videos, obviously, the nicer camera you will get a little bit better of quality as well. But a lot of that has to do with your settings too. You wanna make sure that you find the right settings for you and everything that works with your camera. There's a lot of different videos you can use that are super helpful with all of that. I will link one channel down below that I found that's been really, really helpful with figuring out like lighting and cameras and lenses and mics and everything like that. This channel is like really, really helpful. So I'm gonna link it down below so you guys can check out some of their videos. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm always going to them, so I'll link it down below. The lens that I do have on my camera is the Sigma 18 by 35 millimeter lens. This lens is expensive. When I say expensive, I think I paid like $800 for it, you guys. It's expensive. I do have to say I love the lens. The zoom on it is so good and the autofocus is really good as well. So if I kind of put something in the screen, you see how fast it autofocuses on it? You take it away, it focuses back on your face. That's the thing that I really like about this lens, is that I feel like the autofocus in it is really, really good, and it's also quiet. I know with the previous lens that I had, the autofocus was really loud, so like when I would film my YouTube videos and stuff, when I put stuff in front, you can kind of hear it like clicking. You can hear it a tiny bit with this lens, but it's not as much as with the other lenses I've used previously. It is a really good lens, but once again, you don't need this type of lens. I just was kind of investing in my camera, and I looked through ton of videos to find the best lens that everyone was recommending, and this was one of the top ones that people recommended. I know there's a lot cheaper versions for the Canon, and also there's a lot of other options for, I think I had like the 50 millimeter lens for a while. I purchased that one, I think for like $50 off Amazon, so that was a little bit cheaper. I still have that one. I don't reach for as much. The only thing that I didn't like with that one is you had to film really, really far away. When I film, my camera's pretty close to me, just because I like to sit in front of my window so I have some natural light, but when I use that lens, you have to be really far away. So for me, it was just kind of like not something that I use because of the natural light that I film with, but for someone else that likes to film farther away, that lens works out really well. The camera that I used to film with was my Canon T6. I had that for about a year, I think, and that is what I used to film my Instagram videos with. I also have the Sony A5000. I don't use this very often. I feel like I just need to play with it more. I think that Canon is definitely easier to work with as far as cameras go. I know that a lot of people love this camera, and I really, really want to learn to love it, but I just have a hard time with the settings on it. So if anyone has any tips on settings for this camera, please let me know. So I don't use that as often as this one, just because I feel like this one is a little bit more user-friendly for me, and I feel like it's pretty easy to navigate and to figure out how to use everything. So I definitely recommend the Canons. You don't need to get the 80D. I know that one is a bit pricey, but the T6 or the T6i or any of those cameras are really, really good. Moving on to lighting. So for my lighting, I sit in front of a very large window, so I do use a lot of daylight. I also have kind of some lights throughout as well. So in front of me, I have my Diva ring light. I'll insert like a picture right over here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I really, really love this ring light. It has settings on it so you can adjust the brightness, so you can kind of turn it down, get it a little bit cooler, or you can turn it all the way up if you want super bright, but you can kind of adjust that, which I really like. And it also just has an on-off switch, which is super easy to use. And then I also have it on this little tripod that is also from Diva. I always get asked about that tripod, so I'm gonna have it linked down below as well if you guys wanna check that out. But it's just a small little tripod that I put on my desk so that I can film right on my desk, and it sets my camera right on top as well. Right here above me, I have a light, I believe it's from Stellar. I'll have it linked down below. It is a ring light that I purchased a while ago. It is a more inexpensive version that I got on Amazon. So that is the ring light that I used for my old videos, and I used all the time. Right now I kind of have it facing so it's like above me so I can get a little light on me. And then I also have just like two smaller lights on the side. I don't always have those ones on, just kind of if I feel like it's a little gloomy today, so I do have those on just so we can get a little bit more light on the sides. I'll link those down below as well. So I currently have 4 lights on me right now, but typically if it's a more sunny day, then I might just have my ring light on. So it just kind of depends. Obviously you can just use natural daylight. That is really good too. With my big window, that works out really well to get just the natural light in here. But for me, I like it a little bit more light, so I use my ring light too, but you can definitely just use natural light as well. The mic that I use is from Rode Mic. I have 2 different ones. So I got the one, I believe it was their most inexpensive one. It was like $99 or so. I got that one first, and I did like it. I just feel like for me, it didn't really have the best sound, so I went ahead and I upgraded to their newest one, and I love, love, love this mic. I like the sounds on it a lot better. There's a lot more different controls on it as well that you can get a more crisper sound, which I really like. In my beginning videos, I was just using my mic on my camera, so you can definitely do that as well, and I feel like my quality was fine when I was using that. I just want to kind of amp it up a little bit, so that's why I got the Rode mic, but I definitely did use the one on my camera for a long time. I also have a monitor in front of me. It's like a Sharp TV, but it's like super old school, really fat, and definitely like an old school TV. It does have the HDMI plug-in, and my friend gave it to me when he was moving, so I was like, okay, cool, like I'll try it out, see if it works, and it actually works really well. So I just had that directly in front of me. I tried to lift it because if you guys noticed in my older videos, I was looking off to the side a lot because that's where the monitor was. So now it's kind of directly in front of me, but lifted. So if I look up, like I'm looking at it right now, but you guys can't really tell because it's at the same position that my camera is. So it's kind of blocked, if that makes any sense. My camera's kind of blocking it a little, but I can still see like the top of the screen, so I can still kind of see what I'm doing. That's super, super helpful when you're filming, especially Instagram videos. You can kind of tell if everything's in focus and what it looks like and everything like that. So that's really nice. So another tip with your screens. So my friend Christina was posting on her Instagram stories this, just like her desk or something like that, and I noticed that she had some tape on her monitor, and I was like, what's that? Like, what's that for? How do you use that? So basically she put tape up and down on her monitor to kind of make a square. And I was like, that's the smartest thing I've ever heard. So if you guys know, when you post Instagram videos, they have to be a square. So with that tape on there, it was super, super helpful to know when you're staying in that square. For me, now I use a different way of editing, so I kind of can crop and move and everything like that. But when I didn't used to do that, having everything right in that square was super helpful, because when you went to go edit, sometimes you would notice that products would be outside of the little square that Instagram gives you, and everything would kind of be the wrong area, and it would be really hard to edit. Now that that kind of line is there, it shows you like where you need to stay and where you need to hold everything to make sure you're in that square and everything like that. If you guys are using a monitor and you're kind of trying to figure out how to get everything in the frame for Instagram, this is a super helpful trick. So basically I just had my husband help me, and he just kind of measured out a perfect square on my monitor. So it's super, super helpful. I'll insert like a picture right here so you guys can see what I'm talking about of kind of how it looks on my screen, because I feel like this is a really helpful tip. Also, right down below me, I have a mirror, so it's just like a little square mirror, and I also look down in that. I try to have it kind of lifted, so it's just a little bit down there, so I can kind of look down and do my tutorials that way, which also really helps. For my backdrop, I actually just use my beauty room. So this is just my makeup room. Those are some shelves that I got from IKEA, and I just use those as my background. I just really like the way it looks. I just feel like it's a little bit more homey, but you can use different paper backgrounds or fabrics. I'll tell you guys what I used to use. I'll link them down below. They are some paper backdrops that I found off Amazon that I absolutely loved, and then I just had a background stand that I also got off Amazon. I will link them down below if you guys are looking for a good backdrop to use for your videos or photos. Like I said, I don't really use them anymore. I still have them though, in case I ever wanted to go back to them. Lastly, I want to talk about editing. So for my Instagram videos and for YouTube, I use Final Cut Pro. It is a program that you do have to purchase. So I made the decision, I believe early this year, to go ahead and purchase Final Cut. There is an option to do a trial, so I would recommend definitely doing the trial and seeing if it's something that you think you can figure out. I know it took me a while to even understand it. It's a lot more complicated than the Windows Movie Maker, which is what I was using before. I did like using Windows Movie Maker. The only problem with that I found is it often glitched on me. I would notice that sometimes with my videos, like the screen would turn green and different things would kind of happen that I couldn't fix. So it definitely glitched a lot, which I feel like with Final Cut, I don't really have those issues. And I just feel like there's a lot more fun stuff you can do with editing on Final Cut Pro, but it's definitely a learning experience. I learn new things with it every single day, and it's definitely a lot more advanced than the Windows Movie Maker. So I would say start on that if you are just starting out and kind of get the feel for that and figure it out. And then, like I said, if you want to do the free trial of the Final Cut Pro, then kind of figure that out and see if that's something you would like as well, but it is a little bit more advanced and harder to learn. Edit my photos on Instagram, I just use Facetune actually, which is an app on your phone that you can use. I just use Facetune to kind of blur the skin a little bit. If I want to add like a little bit more detail to an eye look, or if I want to just kind of make my highlight a little bit more true to what it is in real life, I'll just use Facetune. If you guys want a separate video on how I edit my photos, I can definitely do that for you. I do have Photoshop as well. I just feel like I'm not as good with that. I need to practice more. I need to learn how to use it better. So I think I'm actually going to cancel it because I haven't really been using it, and it's kind of a waste to pay for it. That is one that you do have to pay for. So I do need to cancel that actually. And then I actually just use the editing in Instagram as well. I do that to kind of change the lighting and just add a little bit more color, and you can kind of adjust the brightness and everything like that in Instagram now, which is really cool. And I actually prefer that over other programs as far as filters and everything like that, because I kind of like customizing it myself. So that's what I do to edit my photos. Alright, I hope you guys found this video helpful in some way, and I hope that it answered a lot of your guys' questions who are always kind of wondering what I use and how I use it. If you guys have any more questions, please leave them down below. I will try my best to answer them. Like I said, all of the products I mentioned will be down in the description box down below, and I'll have links to them all so you guys can just kind of figure it out and look at what I own and see if that can possibly help you with what you are looking to do. Really quickly before you go, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let me know any other video ideas you guys may have in the comment section. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.